Hello crocheters! Keep your hooks ready because today I'm here with another amazing and beautiful tutorial. I'll be teaching you how to make this super cute sunflower hair tie. Let's get right into it. So for this project we'll be needing yellow yarn, black or brown yarn, our crochet hook, scissors, black or brown thread, a needle, and a rubber band or a hair tie. So let's start with our black yarn and our hook. So the first thing we're going to do is a slip knot. Now for those who don't know how to do a slip knot, you first cross the thread over your two fingers, then you cross it over like this. So we want to leave a lot, okay? And then we make a cross and we hold the thread between our fingers. Now we twist it around, put our hook underneath one, then hook our hook into the second thread, and we're just going to pull it out like this. And if you want a better and more in-depth tutorial of how to do this, you can refer to my video about all the basic stitches. So now we're going to start with a magic ring of 6 single crochets. In this video I'll be showing you how to do the fake magic ring, but if you know the magic ring you can go ahead and do that. So for the fake magic ring we're gonna do 2 chains first. So cross it over like this, then twist it and pull through, cross it over, twist it and pull through. Okay, now we're going to put our hook into the first chain that we made, so like this, and do a single crochet. So basically hook your yarn into the hook and pull through. You should have 2 loops on your hook, and then you twist your yarn and then you pull through. That's 1. So we're going to do 6 of these. So another one, put it through, pull through and do this. Put it through, pull through, put it through, pull through and pull through again. Now that we're done with 6, we're gonna take our hook out like this and make sure to leave a big loop here so that it doesn't get lost, and this thread we're gonna pull on it, okay? So it should look like a shrimp or a prawn. So now we're going to do a slip stitch into the first single crochet we made. So to do a slip stitch, we put our hook in to the V, and then we're going to pull through, and with that same loop, this first loop, we're going to pull through this loop, and that's the first round. So before we start the second round, we'll be putting a stitch marker. Even if you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a safety pin. So the last stitch that we made over here, you'll see a V. I don't think you can see it in the camera because my yarn is black, but we're just going to go through the little V and we're going to close off the stitch marker. Okay, now let's start with the second round. So for the second round, we'll be doing an increase in each stitch. So an increase is basically 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So we're going to go into the same stitch that we started with. Then we're going to pull through and we're going to do a single crochet. Then we're going to go into the same stitch. We're going to pull through and pull through. So that's 1 increase. Then we're going to do this, pull through, put it in again, pull through and pull through. That's 2. So we have to do 6 all around this until we reach the stitch marker. Now that we're done with 6 increases, we're going to remove the stitch marker. Okay, and we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. Okay, now we can replace the stitch marker. Okay, now let's start with our third round. So for the third round, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Okay, then we're going to do an increase into the next. So that's 2. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next stitch again, and we're going to do an increase into the next. So basically what we have to do is 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet in an alternate pattern until we reach the stitch marker. So if you're done with all of the single crochets and increases, you should end with the increase. So now let's remove our stitch marker, okay, and do a slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our yellow yarn. So and then we're going to make a bigger loop, and what we're going to do is, so wrap the yellow yarn into the hook, okay, make sure it's stuck, and just pull through the black loop and make the black loop tighter. Okay, so now you should have your yellow yarn. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So that and that. Okay. Now the next part is a little bit tricky, and if you don't know some of the stitches, you can refer to my basic stitches video. So we're going to chain 4 now. And that's 4. Okay, we're going to chain 4, and then we're going to do a double treble crochet. So in a double treble crochet, before we do a single crochet, we loop the yarn around our hook, we loop the yarn around our hook again, and we loop the yarn a third time. Now with all these loops, we put our hook into the same stitch that we did the chains in. So now you do like a normal single crochet. So you pull through 2 loops. You will have 5 before you pull through. Okay, now you'll have 4. So then you pull through 2 more. You'll have 3. You pull through 2 more. You'll have 2. And you pull through all 2. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 chains. So 1, 2. Now we're going to slip stitch into our last treble crochet. So go through these 2 in the treble crochet, okay, and slip stitch. So pull through like this, and then with the same yarn we're going to pull through. Okay, now there's a stitch called the link stitch. So there are bars on this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hook into the first bar. We're going to pull through. Then we're going to put our hook into the second bar. Okay, it's a bit tricky, and we're going to pull through. We're going to put our hook into the third bar. We're going to pull through, and we're going to put our hook into the last bar, and we're going to pull through. You should have 5 loops on your hook. You pull through 2, you pull through 2, you pull through 2, and at last you pull through 2. Okay, this is a tricky part, so if you want you can rewatch this and try to redo this if it's not working out for you. Now we're going to do the same link stitch, but we're going to do it with only 3 bars. Okay, so put your hook through the first bar, pull through the second bar, pull through, and the third bar, pull through, and you'll have a total of 4 loops. Pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Okay, this is the last time we're going to do a link stitch in a petal. Okay, so put it through only 2 bars this time. So put it through the first bar, pull through, put it through the second bar, pull through, then pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, we're done with the link stitches for this petal, I promise. So now we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch that we have. Okay, the black stitch. So just put it in, pull through, and we're going to pull through one more time. Okay, and that is 1 petal over here. So now to start with the second petal, we're going to put our hook into the next stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch again. Now we repeat what we did for the petal. So chain 4, 3 and 4, do a double treble crochet, 1, 2, 3, put it through, pull through again, pull through again, pull through again and again. Okay, now do 2 chains, slip stitch into that double treble crochet, pull through, oh. So for the slip stitch, make sure to have bigger chains so that it's easier to pull through. And then we're going to do the link stitch. So 1, 2, pull through this, 2, pull through this, 3, pull through this, and then the last one, pull through this, and 5 loops, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Okay, and 3, so 1, pull through, 2, pull through, and 3, pull through, then pull through 1, 2, 3. The last one, 1, 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and slip stitch into the next single crochet. And that's your second petal. So just repeat this until you have 10 petals. Now that I'm done with all 10 petals, I'm going to slip stitch into the very first V of the very first stitch. So slip stitch in, I'm going to pull it, and then with the same loop I'm going to pull through this one, and we're just going to cut our yarn now and pull through, and just pull on this to make the knot tighter. Now we have to weave in all the ends. First we're going to bring this yarn closer to this end of the yarn. So basically we're going to put our hook through, we're going to twist in, and we're going to pull the piece of yarn. Now we can tie knots with the yellow yarn and the black yarn. So just do a simple double knot for both, and you can leave as much of a tail as you want because we'll be cutting it off anyway. This one, and that is 2. Now we want to cut our yarn very short. Don't leave much of it to be seen. There we go. And that's the flower. You can smooth out the petals and flatten them out a bit. And yeah, so now let's get to joining the hair tie and the flower. So you want to thread your needle with a lot of thread and just place the hair tie on the underside of the flower. Then put your needle through and from the top, okay, and leave a bit of tail behind. Then we're going to put it back inside like this, and this time what we're going to do to secure the knot is that we're going to put our needle through the 2 threads that we've taken. So just do that and pull through. That way our knot won't come through our crochet holes. Okay, so now just put it through, bring it from the top. Then we want to put it back through the top into the bottom, and then on the other side put the needle in. And you just want to repeat this till you feel that your rubber band is secure on the flower. So just do that a couple of times. Now I'm sure that my hair tie is secure on the flower and my needle is coming through the top. So I'm going to put my needle back to the bottom, back down, and I'm going to leave a small loop here, and then I'm going to take it back to the top and through the loop. Pull that, and now we can cut the thread off the needle and we can tie a normal knot just like that. There we go. I'm going to do it a couple of times to make sure it's secure. We can just cut off the thread now, and our flower hair tie is ready. If you liked the video and learned something, please like, share, and subscribe.